Hello everyone, welcome to the Excel lesson number 57, and this is our part number 6 of the pivot table lesson series. In this lesson we are going to talk about slices, the beauty of slices. Alright, let's see how we can utilize slices as our filtering option. Okay. So let me create a simple pivot table using the year and the revenue, right? So I'm taking the revenue to the value and year to the rows. Now we have the revenue by calendar year or the financial year. Okay, now if we are going to filter this in traditional way, in manual way, how you can do that? We can easily come to the filter and filter from there, right? But if you want to filter this table based on another field, then our traditional manual method will not work here, right? Otherwise we have to get that particular field into the pivot table and filter from there. Maybe that is not the desired output to the customer, right? To the person who is dealing with this pivot table for decision making. So that is why this slicer is going to handy for us. Okay, now we have our revenue by the year. Okay, now I want to do a filter using a different field. When I choose that field data and my information by year, my revenue by year is going to change. Now let's say I want to do this by product type. Okay, then what should I do? I come to the pivot table tools, analyze field, and under the analyze I can see filter options. Under the filter options you can see insert slicer. Click on it. Once you click on it, the available fields for the slices are appeared in this small window. So there you can select the product type as your slicer. Select it and click OK. Now you have your product type, but you can see it is not visible in a single window. But we can expand the area, but it takes the space of our Excel area. So therefore you can adjust the columns. So under the slicer tools options you can see buttons. Under that buttons you can see columns. So it's set to 1. You can have multiple columns like this way. Let's go with 3. I can adjust my area in this way. Alright, so this looks good. Okay, our slicer is ready for product type. I want to filter, okay, eyewears. When I click eyewear, you can see the revenue is changing. Now in the pivot table, it shows the revenue related only to eyewear. Let's go with first aid, okay, 12 million. Right, so like that row. Alright, no revenue in 2004. Safety, same as row. So like that way you can use this slicer to filter. Okay, let me clear this. Now what about multiple selections? Yes, you can do that. You can see here multi-select, Control S. This Control S is the shortcut. Click on it and select multiple. Now you can see I click on cooking gear. Then you can see cooking gear not selected, because the reason is I have selected all. When I click on cooking gear, then it will exclude from the filter. Now let me do a little trick. Okay, now I'm going to select only cooking gear. Now I can see the revenue related to cooking gear. Then I want to have a cooking gear and knives. Okay, so what I do, I come to the multi-select option, click on it, and then select knives. So when I do that, cooking gear and knives together, selecting, so that means this revenue is related to cooking gear and knives. So in that way you can do the combinations with these slices when you filter. Alright, let me clear that. Now let's see another thing. Let me create another pivot table here. So what I'm going to do is I am going to copy this and I'm going to select here and paste. So now I have two pivot tables, right? But when I select product type, it's changing. Why? This pivot table is source of this. But let me do a little trick here. So I'm going to have a different information in the second pivot table. So I have year with revenue, but I'm going to take what? The gross profit. Okay. In the pivot table 1, I have the revenue. In the pivot table 2, I have the gross profit. Now let's see how our slices is going to work here. Let me click on first aid. Wow, it's changing, isn't it? The reason behind this, right? This slicer have a connection to the both pivot table. So how you can do that actually? How you can do that? So come to the slicer and then options, and there you can see report connections, right? So click on the report connections. Now you can see my slicer selected to both pivot table. If I untick one and click OK, and then let's go and select the knives, you can see it's only updating the revenue because I untick the pivot table number 4. Let me click another one. See, still the gross profit is not changing, but revenue is changing. Okay, so my friends, so that is how you can connect. Let me do it again. I'm clearing this and I'm going to the slicer and options and come to the slicer settings here, and then you can find report connections, and there you can select the related pivot table in order to have the connection. Now when you click this, it's changing. See, alright, so in that way, my dear friends, you can use this slicer option to filter multiple pivot tables. That is really interesting thing, isn't it? Alright, so apply this in your day-to-day work. Please kindly share the video as much as possible with the other colleagues in order to multiply the knowledge. God bless you all. Bye bye.